Hello. Before we get started on our Bad Batch episode, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been watching or kind of paying attention to this channel. We've made it to episode 100, which if you told me that a couple months ago that I'd be doing this up to episode 100 and pretty much getting one out every day. I think there was one day that I skipped one. I think I had a double episode the day before though, so I might not count that. But either way, 100 episodes. Very, very happy with that. I know for anybody who has been watching, it's kind of a roller coaster. You know, a lot of movies, a lot of games, a lot of books. Now I'm getting into comics a whole bunch again. So just thank you for sticking around with me, listening in. I hope that some of the things I ramble about catch your attention. For everybody who's caught one and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go check out that movie, or I'm going to go check out that book. I love to hear that. And it's been very gratifying getting to kind of see some of the interactions I've had. Obviously, I always wish for more interactions would be awesome, but the things that I have had so far have been great. I can't believe that there's, I'll see, 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 views sometimes on things. It's like, are there really that many people that want to watch this stuff? And even if you're just watching a little bit at the beginning, I thank you. It's been fun, and I'm still having a good time, so we'll keep this thing going. As long as I'm having fun, I'll keep doing it. If it gets to be where it's too much, then we'll take a break. But 100 episodes in, it is still a lot of fun, still enjoying it a whole lot, and so thank you guys all for that. Hope you'll enjoy me on the next 100 as well. So stay tuned. We'll get into our Bad Batch episode next. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Ramblings of a 42-year-old man. Chris Smith here with you today, and we are going to do a quick ramble today about the Star Wars animated series The Bad Batch, which just finished up its second season. We just heard that it was renewed for a third and final season, and this is going to be kind of maybe a niche ramble for some people. Anybody who has watched the Clone Wars Star Wars cartoon, The Bad Batch is pretty much a semi-sequel to that. It pretty much takes off right from the end of Clone Wars. In fact, they are introduced in one of the episodes of the final seasons of Clone Wars. So I think the 7th season that they just came out with on Disney Plus a couple years ago, The Bad Batch was introduced there, and then they came out in their own show. And so The Bad Batch is a group of clones that are, the reason they're called the Bad Batch, they all have some sort of specific defect. And what they mean by defect, it doesn't mean that there's anything necessarily wrong with them. It's actually, they have some sort of a genetic mutation that makes them like really strong at a certain something. So like we got one who is an amazing tracker. We've got one who's super strength, and we have one that's super smart. And then we have one that is very like the accuracy. They're a sharpshooter. They never miss when they take a shot, stuff like that. And each of these little individual ticks, makes them not quite the perfect clone, but they kind of put them together on a team and let them go do kind of the crazy missions that they don't want to necessarily lose their good clones on. And so they're called Clone Force 99, and it involves this whole group. And like I said, there's an episode of them in the last season of the Clone Wars, and they jump out into their own series, and their own series pretty much takes place directly at the heels of Revenge of the Sith. Order 66 actually happens right at the beginning of the first episode. Somehow most of this Clone Force is resistant to the Order 66. They don't kind of get the push to kill the Jedi, except for one of them. One of them does, which involves, it makes some fallout happen on the team, but we see the way Order 66 drops down, and it's, most of this group is able to kind of resist that call to kill the Jedi, and then we had kind of fall for that, because all of a sudden now they're kind of on the run from the Empire because they didn't follow orders. They didn't do the thing they're supposed to do, so they're kind of on their own now. And then they end up coming into contact with another clone. This clone is a girl, a young girl clone, which is a first. So they spend the majority of the next 2 seasons pretty much protecting her, keeping her away from the Empire, because there's something about her that the Empire wants. The season 2 finale that just happened, I'm not going to spoil anything that happens there, but let's just say it sets up season 3 being a big kind of rescue operation around some certain people. So we'll see how that ends up going. It is going to be the final season 3 when it comes out, which will probably be next year, I have a feeling. And this is created by Dave Filoni, same guy who kind of got the Clone Wars going, Rebels, and now the shows like The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau that he's working with. He's kind of really taken the helm of Star Wars since George Lucas has left. I would say that with Jon Favreau and Mandalorian, but the Dave Filoni, I think, is the backbone creative force of Star Wars right now. He has just announced that he's going to get his own Star Wars movie, which is going to be quite a few years from now, because it's going to pretty much wrap up all of his shows. So things like the Bad Batch, things like Rebels, things like The Mandalorian, the Ahsoka show that's about to come out. All those shows are going to kind of tail into this future movie that is planned. Star Wars is very back and forth about things that happen and don't happen. We'll see what ends up happening, but right now that is the plan, to wrap all of these stories up in one big final movie of Dave Filoni. So I'm very excited to see how that would go. I've loved everything he's done. My favorite Star Wars property now, other than maybe like Empire Strikes Back and the original Star Wars, is that Rebels animated show. I know a lot of people haven't had a chance to catch that. If you haven't, you really should. It is amazing. It takes a season or two to really kind of, you're introducing characters, you're getting to know them and stuff, but man, the later seasons of that show are just myth building and lore, and pretty much everything that the Ahsoka show is going to be involved in is going to come out of that Rebels cartoon. So if anybody's interested in watching that Ahsoka show, is probably going to want to get on the Rebels bandwagon and check out some of those seasons to kind of figure out where you're at. So especially the later seasons of that show. But speaking of the Bad Batch, that just ended their second season. Season 3 should be rolling out here pretty soon, probably next year, I have a feeling. And then, we'll continue the Filoniverse, as we like to call it, going forward. But enjoyable. All the Star Trek animation shows are pretty good. Higher degrees. Some are better than others. Rebels being the high point for me. The last season, the Clone Wars, being really up there as well. So a lot of good stuff to be had out there in the Star Wars world, not only in the live action stuff. So thank you for listening to me ramble today. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.